A great new article just came out, and it's from our guy Kevin DeJeter, the legend himself, right? The ranked number 107th out of all 7,500 analysts. The guy who has a $14 price tag for BNGO. You gotta love it. And this guy is on here again, and they have some new information actually here. So let's just get to the cool stuff. I only want to go over the really important shit to spare you through all the stuff that we already know. So after a recent investor meeting with the company's management, the 5-star analyst remains firmly in the BNGO bull corner. What are the key takeaways from the conversations with the company management, right? So for one, the company is comfortable with the consensus revenue estimates. The street is expecting $3.5 million Q2 and $16 million for the year. DeJeter is a little less bullish. He's saying $3.3 million this quarter and $15.6 million on the year. Bionano's management said current operating trends are consistent with 2021 forecasts, although the company did not comment on Q2 specifically. Wonder why they didn't comment. You know what I'm thinking? Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Now, we do know the 2021 forecast is by the CFO himself. He thinks it's going to be substantial double-digit revenue growth, right? So, 50%, 60%, probably closer to 100% than like 10%, because he said not quite triple digits, but substantial revenue double-digit growth. So, 50 to 80% most likely. That's somewhere in the realm of that. And 15.6 million, that would fall in line pretty much. And the streets projections are 16 million for the year. So based on whenever this meeting was, like sometime recently, right? This article was just released a few hours ago. Today, this, Bionano does think 15 to 20 million this year is consistent, right? Right now, the revenue this year is consistent with that. The company did provide color on its genomic mapping platform Sapphire's installed base, noting the latest 15 installments are clinically driven and command higher sample volume, trending toward 15 to 150K in reagent sales annually. Consumable revenue, man, the higher samples go. And guys, remember, there's a compounding effect for Bionano's revenue because every single time they analyze a genome and every single time they have to get more chips to actually analyze them, they have to pay and they have to get Bionano's revenue. So the higher installations we have, the higher, it's like just think of it as a compound interest rate, man. It's just going to keep stacking up and keep increasing and drive the price higher throughout the years if we are even close to hitting the company's own essentially estimates. That's essentially what they are. Of 10K sapphires being sold right now, we have like 107. The company is also doing 3 sites where over 5,000 patients will participate in 5 different studies: the prenatal, postnatal, solid tumors, lymphomas, and leukemias. Each numbering 1,000 participants. The postnatal is currently at the most advanced stage with 3 sites on board and the potential to enroll 30 to 50% of the participants by the end of the year. So it is true, based on this data, they are going to have one of the things done, or at least, if we go down here a little bit, the company anticipates an interim update from the constitutional disorders study in the year's second half, right? So it's on track to come out, at least the interim update is going to come out this year, so it's good to see. And I think that could be evidence for the FDA. I think that is evidence, at least, maybe not evidence for it, but potentially evidence for FDA approval, getting the data and the stuff needed for actually going through the phases and getting and gaining and achieving FDA approval for the Sapphire and entering the diagnostic realm completely and fully after that. I think that's why they're actually partly doing these 5 studies. Okay, I don't know for sure. I don't have inside information, but this is I think this is kind of maybe what they're doing here. At the very least, they're trying to do more academic praise and get the word out more, and then prove that the Sapphire is legitimately should be taking a market share in greater than 500 base pair detection in all of these 5 markets. An assay is just a way of finding something out, right? It's just an analysis. It's just a fancy way of saying an analysis or a test, done to determine something. And it's a little bit more complicated, right? Laboratory medicine, that's specific to that. And then all these other fields, right? It's just a method of something, right? So they're validating, right? Getting those, I'm not a scientist. I don't know everything in here. Some of y'all know more about the validating assays than I do, but they're getting these ready. And these are going to be used as they are actually coming out, right? They're validating the assays for each of the 5 groups, and they're also doing some cool stuff here. And the swabs here that Brennan has been talking about for a while, it looks like they are doing measures to do that, to validate that, and validate different sample collection ways, including these swabs, the cheek swabs. And this is what that is going to be. Okay, a little bit confusing, But if we go back over here, right, they're going to be doing that stuff, and it's just new samples that they're going to be able to use, and this makes it easier for people to actually use the Sapphire and get their genomes analyzed and whatever they're trying to do. DeJeter says flexibility in sample collection may allow BNGO to expand Sapphire-based assay menu for clinical diagnostics. And diagnostics is key for Bionano. When we get into the realm of, being able to actually diagnose people who have genetic diseases and have all these problems, that's key. Okay, the market there is absolutely huge, right? It's not like there's going to be a shortage of people getting genetic diseases or sickness or having bad things happening to them as far as genetic abnormalities. This stuff is going to be around for a while, and it's a huge market that's ours for the taking. And hopefully, and luckily, Bionano is able to help with this stuff, right, and make the testing and easier for people who have these horrible diseases like FSHD, right? The muscular dystrophy one's horrible. They're all horrible, right? And I'm very glad that Bionano is actually such it's a company with a great moral cause, right? So also, finally, the company anticipates this that we already talked about, and DeJeter thinks the data will be published online in the second half. Okay, so turning to the rest of the street, Bionano is a buy. Okay, we already know that. So that is pretty much it. And to sum this article up, I would just say that the most important thing I would say is the wording here, right? So the company is comfortable with the consensus revenue estimates. The street is expecting Q2 to be this, and then DeJeter is expecting this. And DeJeter has talked with the company, and it looks like he thinks it's going to be 3.3 million for Q2, which is actually not that bullish, right? If it was 3.3 million, we're probably not going to go up 50%. We may go up 10%, 20%, probably max, based on 3.3 million, which is still a huge revenue. That's a crazy year-over-year growth, but it's not 4 million. It's not 4.3 million by any means. But I think the company did not comment on Q2 specifically, maybe because we already know about a lot of Sapphires and Regent agreements and commitments that have been made during this quarter, and it's very likely that we're gonna beat this shit. So I think the company was trying to purposely be silent on Q2. They said, the company apparently is, quote, comfortable with the consensus revenue estimates. So this is good to see. It's good news overall, and it just shows you that the company is comfortable, quote, with getting the revenue projections that the street and DeJeter is forecasting. They're comfortable with them, and the consensus is 3.5, right? And the company is comfortable with that. So, what does that mean? We'll see what it means. I think it's going to mean we're going to blow out of the park. But, I could be way wrong. I could be totally off. Please do your own damn research and know that the risks are plenty for Bionano. Right? There's plenty of risks for Bionano. But with that being said, I'll show you the portfolio and we'll get out of here, right? So there's the portfolio, 100% BNGO. And with that being said, thank you so much. It's not finished, guys. I'll see y'all in the next one.